How's it going, everyone? Feels like it's been a little bit since I did a Whisper ramble, which is kind of crazy, right? But here we are. What's been going on in the last few weeks, or however long it's been? It's been an interesting time for me. You know, really weird. I'm in a really weird kind of place right now. What are you doing? Well, anyways, so it is of course my watch is dead, so go ahead and take that off. It is September. It is September. So we're getting towards that holiday season rush, right? Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all that fun stuff. I don't know, me and the holidays lately, last few years, we've not seen eye to eye. Actually, if I think about it, really, the holidays are like a bad time for me, just in general. I don't know what it is, because when I was younger, I loved holidays. Like, I loved the snow, I loved the cold, I loved staying in, hot chocolate, watching Christmas specials, and, you know, all the TV specials for Halloween and Thanksgiving. Like, I loved that stuff. But now, lately, these last few years, I don't want any part of any of it. So I'm not really sure what that's all about, but I don't know. I kind of want to make the best of it this year, though. You know, just time is very short. You know what I mean? Like, life is short, and especially lately, I've just kind of been, you know, really ticking myself off. You know, I've really been sweating the small things, and so I really just kind of like to get over some things and just stop being so uptight. I feel like I've been really uptight lately. Actually, I feel like I've been uptight for a while, and I don't think that's naturally me, but I think that's kind of come with being a bit more guarded. And I don't really feel like myself, whoever that is, right? But I just feel like, you know, I haven't been who I want to be in a long time. Or at least that version of me that I've liked the best. You know what I mean? Like, that version of me has not been around for a while. So, anyways, I'm just trying to reconnect with myself and, you know, get all that figured out, and just to kind of end the year off with on a good note. So, are you guys aware of the YouTuber slash maker? You know, if I'm gonna chew gum during the videos, I really can't. Like, I can't do this. Like, this gum just doesn't have it doesn't have enough chew to it. It doesn't have enough, you know. And technically, it's not supposed to be like a chewing gum, right? It's just a. I don't know why I smelled it. I knew what it was gonna smell like, and I still smelled it. Here we are. This is double bubble. So. Noises for you. Or ASMR pleasure. Yeah, that's low me. That's baby me. Or, you know, anyways. So, So he's kind of infamous in the mukbang realm of things. And I guess maybe in YouTube in general, because he's a very big name. Apparently, I became aware of him a couple years ago, and I think it was because of Tumblr, honestly. And just all the press I was seeing about him was always pretty negative, so I just kind of steered clear. Not that I believed any of that, but it was just like, it just seems like drama. So unless I naturally come across it, then I'm not going to like seek him out. Well, when I got like really like obsessed with mukbangs, in particular pizza mukbangs, like I had this weird thing where I had to watch people eating pizza, and it had to be like a certain like pizza. It had to be like had to have like all the toppings and all that stuff, right? Anyway, so it was like auto playing, so it would play one video and it would go to another, and it's like it sometimes just chooses it by random. And I'd never seen his video, but I guess because it was relevant, it played one of his videos. And so, anyways, after watching his video, I was kind of like, okay, interesting. He's definitely a personality. And in the video, I think he might have been like clapping back at somebody. But then I ended up watching another one of his videos, and I realized that he's actually very smart, like very dramatic. All his videos are kind of, the ones that I seen were very over the top, but then it was also like, wow, this guy's like super duper smart. Like he was very articulate when he was talking about certain things, like when he was getting serious, those brief moments. So anyways, like it became very clear to me, like he's playing a character and he's very smart. But obviously some of his infamy comes from the fact that he started off thin and then got really big and kind of was very unapologetic about being big about it. You know what I mean? He's like, I don't care. I'm going to eat the way I want to eat, but if I wanted to lose the weight, I could. And he was saying, like at one point he wasn't healthy when he was thin. And at that current present time, when he was making that video and he was big, he was healthier at that moment than he was when he was thin. And so people hated that, and so he was having this whole thing. Well, anyways, those are the only videos I watched his, and then I moved on and never really thought about it since. Well, I was watching, what is her name? Big girl, really big girl. I think she might actually be called like Fat Girl Eats or something like that. She's a big girl. But she's a big girl, and every now and then I'll come across one of her mukbangs and kind of watch it. Even though I don't really find her particularly interesting, but the food itself is like, oh, I kind of want to see someone eat that, so I'll watch. Anyways, so I have been watching some of her videos from time to time, and lately she's been kind of controversial too, because like I said, she's a bigger girl, and there's been times where she's wanted to lose weight, but then it's become very clear that because of the way she's built her platform and like her name and her brand, losing weight is a detriment to her income. So it's like, well, if I start losing weight, people stop watching, you know what I mean? And that kind of brings me back to I can't remember what I was talking to somebody about, like losing weight, and I think it was about The Biggest Loser, and they were saying, shows like that are bad for like people's health and a bad perception, and it's exploitive and all that. And my thought was and this is my own experience, because I had lost a lot of weight a while back, and and I had like like social media going on for all that, and I always noticed my engagement for all of that was always bigger when there was a certain moment happening. Okay, so first off, anytime I was doing particularly bad, I got more engagement, you know what I mean? So it's like, and I was a very kind of open person about my whole thing, so I had strengths of just kind of like doom and gloom. But then I would have these rebounds where I'm doing really, really good, and during those times would be when I had the less engagement, you know what I mean? And it's like, you post it before and after, and like your engagement explodes, right? You have a huge setback, your engagement explodes. But if you're consistently doing good, people don't really care. You know what I mean? They want the beginning and they want the end. They don't want the stuff in the middle. And so it's like, she could try to, as for the girl I'm talking about, the ASMR girl who's big, it's like some of the argument is, well, she could turn her channel into like a weight loss channel. She could. But she would lose a ton of revenue, because I'm almost positive that the person who put that very comment wouldn't watch her as much if she started to lose weight, if she started to eat more, moderately and more boringly, and was talking about the ups and downs of weight loss journeys, and if she was losing that 1 or 2 pounds a week, if she was being consistent, people would not watch her as much. You know what I mean? She gets like, hundreds of thousands of views on her videos, right? So, and she's noticed, when she does something that's not really food related, the numbers are just kind of abysmal. So her YouTube career pays for everything for her, right? So if she decides to lose weight, it's going to affect her bag, right? And that's where the dilemma comes, because it's like, well, well, the trade-off is too big, right? Like, I gotta be able to have a house, I gotta be able to eat, I gotta be able to have electricity, right? I gotta be able to have my necessities, and I still want to look, or I still want to live comfortably. But if she changed up her, her whole brand, it would affect that quite a bit, I think even Nikocado talked about that once, about how he knows what the algorithm wants, he knows what people want to watch, he knows how things work. So, getting back to Nick, though. So I was watching her a couple days ago, or whenever the hell it was, and she's been wanting to lose weight, and she was thinking about doing like one of those new injectables, but she has like some fear leaving the house, so I guess she hasn't actually left the house in like years or something like that. So everything gets delivered to her, she basically never leaves. Somebody comes in and cleans and all kinds of stuff. So, but in order for her to like make any serious progress with doing anything, she has to leave the house, and that's really what the big issue is right now. But anyways, +1. So she's wanting to do one of these injectables, and like I said, she needs to leave the house, but she hasn't left in a while. And so, like I said, I was watching her, and her comment feed right now is very volatile, I guess you could say. People supporting her, people who are very much just haters, you know what I mean? And anyways, so because I've been watching some of her videos from time to time, the other day she posted a video, and it was her and Nikocado, and well, at first I didn't know it was him, because it was some thin guy, and I was like, oh, who's that? But the name said Nikocado, and I thought she had like taken his face, shrunken it down, and then slapped it onto someone's body. So I thought it was like the image was fake, and then I clicked on it, and it wasn't fake. Like, he was super thin. So then I went and like looked at my like For You page or whatever, and there was a few people who I watched who made commentary on his transformation. So I didn't even know it happened, but it was a whole like thing where for the past couple years he basically stockpiled videos to consistently be released, and so you wouldn't know what was really going on with them. So basically he shot 2 years worth of videos, and you know, and some time span a couple years ago, and then he had them scheduled, you know what I mean? So they would come out every so often on the schedule. In the meantime, he was losing weight, and he called it like 2 steps ahead or something like that. So then I guess one day this past week or so, he just uploaded like another video, I think titled the same thing, like 2 steps ahead, and he was literally skinny, like skinny, not like it's skinny, like he like literally lost all the weight. Like, it took me a moment to be like, is that really you? Like, it's crazy, that kind of transformation. And it's so interesting because like so much of his hate came from people like really just hating the fact that he was so big. They were like, well, you're glamorizing obesity and you're promoting unhealthiness and blah blah blah, right? But then he loses all this weight of what we can assume was about 2 years time, and the commentary is mixed. So you have some people who are like, you certainly showed us, you know what I mean, like, bravo. But then there's a lot of people who are also like, well, losing that weight isn't healthy either. It's like, why don't you just admit like you want to hate the guy, you know what I mean? Like it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. And it's like you just don't want to admit that you were wrong. And I don't even know what the full discourse is, but it's very clear that some people are just kind of bitter. But when I saw his transformation, it made me think of like what my ideal transformation looks like, and it's almost identical to what his has been, where it's like thin Nick and big Nick don't look like the same person. And that's the kind of transformation I would have. I want to be like so much thinner that I don't even look like me, right? I want to look like a whole new person, and that's the kind of transformation he had. I don't know what this is so close. I don't know. I don't know what he did, but I know it was 2 years time, and that's, in the grand scheme of things, that's not long. That's not a long span of time. But I know that it's like, if you're dedicated, you can easily lose a couple 100 pounds in a couple years, because I've done it before. So, but of course, because there's all of this new injectables and surgeries, that there's speculation on what he's actually done and what he hasn't done. I don't know if he's spoken on it yet. I haven't actually looked up and seen, but I know, as of, you know, what I had last heard, that there was just tons of speculation, you know. I don't know if it really matters in the end, but like I said, I just know it's possible. But it just got me thinking about where I've been at the last 2 years with weight loss, where, you know, about 2 years ago I had almost reached my peak, you know. I had done all the work that I had done, it's been solid. You know what I mean? Like I haven't had any crazy gains, but it's either stalled or it's been really slow. And I haven't really been into it. But it's like seeing that transformation. It's kind of like when I was younger. And they had that show, The Biggest Loser. And honestly, that show, no lie, it did kind of mess me up because of my expectations. To this day, are kind of based off of what I seen on that show, which was watching these really big people lose massive amounts of weight weekly, and then have this really crazy transformation at the very end. Which, you know, but again, if I go back a bit, no one would have watched The Biggest Loser if it had been a slow and steady show about weight loss, because those don't exist, and if they did, they would not succeed. That's kind of why when you're watching something like My 600-Pound Life, and you know it's cut into all these months, it's because when they're doing good and they're doing fine and it's consistent, it's boring. No, you know, people don't want to watch it. They want the drama. And by the way, that show is incredibly orchestrated, by the way. So I used to be on a My 600-Pound Life Reddit, and the people were just so nasty on there, like just like, and it's like especially like more and more things would constantly come out about the production of the show and the way they orchestrate certain things. Like they make villains out of people's family for plot points, like literally like a soap opera. You know what I mean? There's multiple people who've come out and said, you know, they made my mom look bad, but they chose her to be bad. You know, they said, we're gonna play it up. You know what I mean? Whereas the person would say, like, in real life, my mom's something like that. You know what I mean? So, but they needed a villain. They needed something to really spice it up. And it always was strange to me how, in all the seasons of that show, nobody really seemed to have a sort of a fun adventure, right? Like there's always this element of misery and doom and gloom, always. And I'm just like, that's just not real. You know what I mean? Like everyone's not like that, but like literally every episode, these people are, you know, it starts out they're miserable, they're getting into the shower, like butt naked, and I'm thinking, why? What does this do for me, the viewer, to see this person getting into the shower? Now, in some ways, it does put some things into perspective, but I think after you've seen it a couple times, you don't need to see it every episode, right? Not only that, but I think you could switch it for person to person. You know what I mean? Like some people, the perspective might be better to have seen that controversial shot, whereas you could have achieved that same effect with a whole different scene that was nothing like that, right? Just to kind of put things into comparison, right? Like sometimes seeing some of them like get in a car, that was enough. You know what I mean? Like seeing that was the equivalent of like the shower scene, but they still did the shower scene at the beginning. You know what I mean? And it's like they always like have these crazy meals. I know I'm going totally off script now, but it's just every time I watch that show, they're always eating these really big meals, and it's like I know they don't actually eat like that. You know what I mean? Like these, I think someone's telling them like, hey, what do you eat? What does like the biggest meal you ever had look like? And then they get them that food to create these shots. Because it's like we've literally seen people like eat like these giant things of like lasagna and all this stuff, and it's like some people will eat a whole lot, but anyways, it's just if you think about it. But getting back to things, the weight loss and Nikocado, and I don't know, it just kind of motivates me to want to lose more weight now, like especially as the year's ending out. So that's kind of my goal, is to reach another, I don't want to say milestone because I don't like milestones, because I only really care about like the main milestone, which is my, anyways. But you know, I have an idea in my mind where I want to be by January, okay? And so that is numerically significantly different than where I'm currently at. So And if I do achieve this, I will be getting close to my peak low, because that means I will be approaching that 200 range where I lost that much before. Because I'm not there yet, obviously. And so it'll just be interesting. So, yeah. I can't remember what my original point with that was, but I don't even remember what I was saying before the darn alarm went off. Can you hear this? This is my little beard brush, but it's like this little soft silicone. You know what I mean? So it's not like brushy. Oh, can you hear that? That's nice. Don't look too close to my face. My face is doing a thing. Yeah, I still need to get to the dermatologist, but I just don't want to go. I don't want to see this dermatologist. I really want a new dermatologist. We've got like 2 options in town, and the other option that I got, it's basically like great value version of a dermatologist. So I don't like my dermatologist, but you know, she's very well qualified, even if she doesn't have a whole lot of experience with people with this kind of skin. Trust me, that matters. Don't know how many times I've been told. Maybe I'm not going to get into that, but it's just really interesting that there's fields of medicine where there isn't a whole lot of research by doctors on like how something affects the African American body. You know what I mean? Like, years ago I seen a nephrologist about, like, before I started losing weight years and years ago, I was over 600 pounds, okay? And I had a lot going on and didn't know it. So my blood pressure was through the roof, obviously. But I didn't know it. But it was like, you know, karate chopping, uppercutting, body slamming my kidneys. And I didn't know. But I go see this nephrologist, and he's like, well, your numbers are kind of high here, but that might, and these numbers are bad. This would put you in this category. But for you, being an African American, this might be normal. What? So it's like if I were white, I would for surely be in a bad area. But since I'm black, I might not be. So I've had experiences like that quite a few times. So anyways, that's just where am I going with this? Anyways, you may or may not have noticed, probably not. Who notices anything? But bit of a change of scenery. Yes. So I think we're pretty much done with this video. We got to talk about all kinds of things. Biggest Loser, weight loss, Nikocado, that fat chick that I can't remember her name, but literally, I'm pretty sure fat chick is in the name of that video, so don't come for me.